All right. This video walks you through the basics of how to get onto the virtual machine and how to access R and RStudio in that way. So we're going to get set up to do our lab 0, but this is the lab you would do before that. So, or not the lab, the video you would watch before that. The virtual machine is a system at Truman that allows us to access different software and to use different tools that you can have. You can choose to install R on your own machine, and there's another video for showing you how to do that. So let me share my desktop and we'll walk through the process of this. Okay, so in order to access what we're going to do, you're going to go to view.truman.edu, and it uses software called VMware. And you can either install a client on your computer or you can just use the web interface. You put in your name and your password. I've already done that. And then you go ahead and log in. And what you'll notice is that it's going to make a regular desktop for you that lives inside the web browser. So what you're doing is you're accessing Truman's network and you're getting on this virtual machine. So it's like a computer that's made just for you. It's actually what most of the computer labs at Truman run. You may have seen that the boxes aren't full computers, they're actually just little rectangles. And when you get to those, they're going to show you how. I mean, they're going to just run that way. So once you get the computer to open up, we're going to go ahead and open up RStudio. Now, one thing that we've talked about a couple times in a couple different videos is that R is the name of software that is going to be doing the actual calculation, the actual statistics that we run. RStudio is an interface for R. So if you download the computer, the software to your own computer, you're going to download both R and RStudio. But in practice, you're just going to run RStudio. So when you click on RStudio, it's going to open up a window that looks like this. And what you'll notice is that there's actually 3 separate windows going on at one time here. And the one on the left is your actual R window, and it is exactly the same as what would happen if you opened R by itself, as you would just get this window. On the right are some things that help make the software work. And so you can see that these have tools for keeping track of our environment. Every command you run is going to be run there. It has other connections and that sort of thing. Down here, it's going to keep track of our file. So over here on the left, this is our console window. And you can actually see that it's going to do things. So if we put in 5 plus 8, it's going to tell you that's 13. That's probably not the greatest, most interesting calculation you've ever seen. You probably didn't need fancy software to do that. Fancier things are going to be done in a function or a command. So our functions are going to just be run by doing the name of the command, and then you put your function inside of it. So sine of 2 is another one that, again, isn't too complicated. But when you run that, it's going to give that value to you. So, of course, we're going to be doing fancier things soon enough, but the basic command structure does it like that. So on the left is your actual code. The right side has helpful things that you can do. One that I want to mention right away is the help window. So you can either type a command over here, or from the command line or some of the other windows, if you just type in a question mark and the name of the command, oops, it'll pull up a help menu that's going to help you do that. Now, right now this is split. If you click this, it'll make it full screen, and you can see here are all your favorite trig functions. We're actually not going to use trig functions very much at all in this class. The history tab, as I said, that keeps track of things. You can see here are the commands. It remembers what I ran last time, so the history is actually sort of handy for that. One other thing I'll show you really quickly is that we can use what we call the assignment feature, which is just that little lesson sign in the dash to make a little arrow. And we can say X is assigned to be 8. And if we do that, then over here in the environment window, it says X is now assigned to be 8. And that's cool because now we can do other stuff with it. And again, we're not doing anything too clever, but X plus 7, it turns out is 15 because X is 8. And no matter how complicated things we get, whether it's a single value, a vector of values, which is a whole bunch in a row, a data frame, which would be a whole spreadsheet worth of information, or even something more complicated, all of those will be listed over here in the environment tab so that you can remember what all has been defined and what all you can use. The last thing I'm going to show you right now is the idea of making a project. So in a project, that's just literally a folder that's saved either on the network or on your own machine that puts all the files in one place. So I'm going to make a new project here. First, it's going to ask if we want to save. We really don't need to save that, although 5 plus 8 is pretty interesting. And then we're going to put that in a new directory. It's going to be a brand new project. And then we're just going to put it where we want to. Now, if you're on the Truman virtual machine, you might go to the computer and select the Y drive. The letter Y drive is just a file space that you can use for things. And then within that, you can either make a new folder. I actually have a folder here, and I'm going to make a new folder for this semester. And then once you've made that folder, you can give it a name. And we'll call this first one data management or whatever, because that's what we're going to be doing for the first third of the class. So for the whole course, I'm going to suggest you make 3 different projects, as well as one for your course project. But you can call it whatever you want. If you want to call it beginning stuff, that would actually be a fine name as well. So we're going to create that project, and then it's going to switch that. Everything we just did was lost. So once you make a project, you're going to want to go to it right away. And that's just a really quick introduction to RStudio, how you open it, how you get it to work, so that you can get your pieces working. So the next video is going to go into our Lab 0 and talk about how to do that.